Bula Vinaka, good evening and namaste. This is Fiji Village Street Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Tonight we talk about electoral processes. A lot of questions have been coming in relation to the upcoming elections. We're 12 days away. Definitely we have to clarify it with the main person in charge in relations to elections management, and that's the Supervisor of Elections, Mr. Mohammed Saneem. Mr. Saneem, on behalf of our viewers and listeners, we acknowledge you accepting the invitation to come in and to clarify issues that have been coming through our platforms and calls, etc., to ensure that we get clear clarification before election day and even before pre-poll day.
Thank you, Vijay. Pleasure to be here and looking forward to this show. Perhaps we should use this show not only to clarify issues, but to also send out some messages to the people, especially since we are now about exactly 13 days away from the big day. And it is absolutely important that in the next 13 days, we prepare ourselves to vote. And how many and who comes to vote is absolutely critical at this stage. And perhaps that is what is now becoming more and more important in the countdown to the election, rather than issues that are being created on social media, because if there are issues being created and contentions being raised, all that is going to be only as useful as the number of people that come out to vote. So perhaps in a more constructive manner, we should have people who come up with issues around how to make more people come and vote, rather than the petty issues that has been ongoing since 2012, 2013, 2014, and I can keep counting the years. So perhaps that is one way this show can be more useful to all the listeners out here, because if it eventuates into a better turnout in a greater numbers, that should help the entire country move further. So
exactly, that is our intention, so let's move on with it. A lot of work in any general elections is based on the electoral laws of a country. These are critical for any elections management body to ensure that the laws of the land are followed based on the procedures laid out. With days away from election day, tonight we welcome back the supervisor and we talk about electoral procedures so that you can understand the different mechanics of elections, and it's not just done on a whim on the processes that are followed. Everything is based on the Electoral Act, Mr. Saneem. Everything is based on the Constitution, and everything is based on the Political Parties Act. First question, this is based on people asking questions. Some people are still thinking they can vote at any polling station as long as they are registered. What is your message to them based on the Electoral Act?
Well, let's put it this way. In the 2014 election, the turnout was 500,078 people who voted. In the 2018 election, the turnout was 458,000 people who had voted. You can say in a ballpark figure that at least 458,000 people roughly have voted twice. That is in 2014 and 2018. You can also say that the total number of people that have voted in the last 8 years is close to 958,000. So this means that the number of people who know about the system in Fiji is currently standing at close to 600,000. In the system is you cannot vote everywhere or anywhere. You can only vote where your name is listed on the voter list. And that is what was practiced in 14 and 2018. And let me just put it very clearly, the system is exactly the same as it was in 2014 and 2018.
Nothing has changed, so remember that you can get your polling station, exact polling station, by texting.
You can check your voter card. And the latest voter card, the blue colored voter card, has your polling venue written directly on it.
If you don't have a blue voter card?
Let's go one by one.
Yes, that's right? What I'm doing.
You find out to get to your polling venue, you take out your blue voter card, it's written on the blue voter card. For those of you who do not have a blue voter card, you have 13 days to change to a blue colored voter card so that your polling venue is written directly on your voter card. If you don't have the blue voter card for some reason on election day, you can still vote without a voter card. That you can do by simply texting, by knowing where you have to turn up to, that's first. And if you don't know where you have to turn up to, then on election day, FEO will have its offices open in 23 locations. If you don't have all of these and you have a green colored voter card, you can text your voter card number to 1500 and it will still tell you where you are supposed to vote.
Anybody can text that number to get their polling station.
You can text your number or anybody's number. It's free of charge, and it has been used widely previously. The number is 1500.
So 1500, the number to text to check your polling station before election day if you have any doubts. Now, Mr. Saneem, how many ballot papers have been printed for the 2022 general elections? Can you also explain the steps taken to secure the ballot papers?
Yes. So we have printed close to 700,000 ballot papers for the general election, and the security of the ballot paper, as you have seen in all our live videos, in all our uploads to from our printing facility, the place is heavily guarded by police. Every ballot paper that moves out of the printing factory is escorted by police. Under police escort and guard, it is taken to the warehouse where it is stored under police guard. And of course, CCTV cameras are there, and the FEO team is there full time looking after the ballot papers.
Thank you, Mr. Saneem. For postal vote applications, you had highlighted in a press conference that you're expecting 23,000 applications, but just 9,916 were received. Are you concerned about the response?
That is what I started with. Let's look at it this way. In 2018, we received about 11,000 postal vote applications. 9,000 postal votes came back. So if you put this year's figure, which is 9,916 over 11,000, that's a drop of about 22%. And it should not only be me who is concerned, rightfully so, everybody should be concerned.
Well, that's a fact now that postal vote applications have closed, so we cannot be looking at those numbers. I noticed in a press conference, most of them were people who are likely to work on the day. And that was the concerns that were being raised about employers to make sure that they give time to their workers to go and vote.
How will an employer give time to their workers? Let's look at it this way. We put the perspective of Suva, where a lot of people come to work, but people live in Nassori, people live in Navua. They come and work in Suva. Suppose a business is to open from 9 o'clock on election day, which is a public holiday, and since it's a public holiday, then the workers are entitled to double time. Now, with double time being paid, suppose a worker is getting paid $5 an hour, they're getting $10 an hour. If the employer says, I will give you 2 hours off, what are the chances of this employee making that trip back to Navua to vote, or making that trip back to Nanduri to vote? That's highly unlikely. What they will instead do is move out of the workplace, go and sit somewhere comfortably, enjoy some TikTok, watch some Netflix, 2 hours later come back, because it is not practical for us to imagine that somebody will take that 2 hours to go to their location. Now, what would be more practical is if businesses decided that it is election day, it comes only once every 4 years, let's close for half the day. We will start after midday. I mean, the option was there. If an employer is adamant that I should open at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, your employees did not apply for a postal vote. This event comes once every 4 years. What is the chances an employer can say, I will open after midday? In 2018, Vijay, you and I had this discussion once. There were more people sitting at a particular hotspot than at the polling stations in Suva on that particular day. Now, this is where we need to probably look back at our strategy, how to get more people to come and vote. And I disagree with you when you said that let's not look, it's a fact that it's 9,916 people have applied, and let's not look at those numbers.
No,
that is the number we have to look at.
I'd like to clarify that.
Yes.
I said it's a fact that postal voting applications have closed, and only 9,916 have applied. We cannot have that number increase as far as postal ballot is concerned.
Yes.
We're now looking at employers.
No.
Now, my question now.
Let me finish.
Mr. Saneem, can I ask you the question to give clarification, because we have to move on from this issue? It's about employers, and are there any discussions expected with the employers to try to, for example, they start half day?
So you cut me off in the middle. I was getting to this. The point is this. When the election day was announced as a public holiday, there were a lot of inquiries made with us about the operations on the day. One of the things I can tell you is that we had, prior to the election date being announced, we had done consultation sessions or awareness sessions with at least an expected amount of people. 23,000 was the number that we expected from Fiji itself to be able to apply for postal voting, because they worked in the tourism sector, they worked in the restaurant industry, they worked in the essential services, hospitals, they were the nurses, the orderlies. These are people who are needed on the day. So when we did this and the number came to 9,916, that should give you some indication around what can be predicted on election day. And if we have to come up with a strategy, we have 13 days. I cannot go and force any employer to not open on the day, right? Employers have agreed that yes, if we open on the day, we are going to give staff time off. But I'm telling you the practical side of the time off that you will give and how much time off should you give. And I mean, once every 4 years, I may sound unreasonable right now when I'm requesting employers to consider this. Perhaps open your businesses after 1 o'clock.
So a request there by the Supervisor of Elections, the employers who are watching and listening, a request that you give time off on election day to people. It comes once in 4 years, important right for people to vote, to give them that time off and start work a bit late if the people have missed out on postal vote applications.
The other thing you can do is if you open late, you can still say that as an employer, it is my policy to promote that my staff will go and vote. So if your staff turn up to work and they have not been inked on their little finger on the left hand, the employer could once again say to the staff, look, you have not exercised your constitutional right. And of course, it's a voluntary system. But what we are looking at, if you look at it, Vijay, from 11,000 to 9,916, a drop of 22%. If you are going to project that on the national level, and you say the same trend stays, the turnout last time was 72%. You drop it by 22%, you are looking at a 50% turnout. Now, I noticed some disagreements with this number. Yes, I'd love you to prove me wrong. Make it 75%, make it 85%. But yes, the bottom line is, if the trend is what is showing right now, it's a grave cause for concern for everybody.
Exactly. We have received questions from some who are postal voting. They are asking what is being done to ensure that their vote remains a secret vote, as they have to put their names and details in the transmission envelope. Of course, there's a secret envelope. Can you please just run through the process for them?
Well, the transmission envelope contains your details, which we will use to verify whether you are the person who initially applied. The ballot paper is to be marked by you and placed inside the secret envelope. Seal it with the secret, seal it. If you want, you can even seal it with the sellotape so that it is in your mind, you are confident that it has been sealed. That envelope will not be opened right up until count. The envelope will only be opened when we start counting, and that is going to happen on the 14th of December after 6 p.m.
The details on the transmission envelope and how the process works, if you can clarify.
So once you return your ballot paper to us in the prepaid return envelope, 7 days before election day, we will take out your transmission envelope, and from your transmission envelope, we will verify once again the details that you have submitted to us against your application. Then we will take out the secret envelope from your transmission envelope, and the secret envelope will be placed inside the ballot box, which is already sealed. This will be a 24/7 exercise conducted over full 7 days prior to elections. In this exercise, political parties are entitled to send their agents. Usually they haven't. They have sent it on the first day and then they have never sent agents. Maybe this time around they will send agents throughout. But once your secret envelope is in that ballot box, it doesn't mean that this ballot box is only for people from Australia, this ballot box is only for people from New Zealand. No. The ballot box is there. The chain will be as my staff receive any packet, they will process it same time. We will not process packets by country or by area. It's all mixed together. So that's how your ballot remains a secret, because all the secret envelopes look the same. Our staff don't know if you have marked the secret envelope or taped the secret envelope with a particular tape. Of course, at the counting time, we will open the secret envelope, remove your ballot paper, and your ballot paper will be counted. So that's the security there.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I am Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight, the Supervisor of Elections, talking about electoral processes and also the importance of coming out to vote based on the days that you allocated to vote. Mr. Saneem, of course, you went into the area of it going into the ballot box as far as postal ballots are concerned, and you've said that they're opened after 6 p.m. on election night. If you can explain further how that process goes.
So once the postal ballots are received and the secret envelope is placed inside the ballot box, we will cap it off at 650. Then the new ballot box will be used for the next 650 and will continue going until all are received. On election night, at 6 o'clock, we will start the counting of the ballot papers, and postal will also be in that count at the National Count Center. At the National Count Center, we will be counting all the pre-poll and postal ballots, and this will happen on election night and continue until we are done. So that's where it will be counted.
Now, knowing that going back to voting, and it's not compulsory in Fiji, we definitely would like to have a bigger voter turnout. What can be done? You've alluded to asking the employers to ensure that they play their part. Yeah. There were statistics earlier released about the biggest voting registered people in 2018, 21 to 30 years. It was quoted as 148,436 registered, only 89,670 voted according to data on the 14th of November 2018. What can be done?
Exactly what can be done. I have asked this question now. There are a lot of people who have put forward all the complaints that they have about the system. They have put forward all the issues that they feel about the electoral process. That's fine. They're entitled to do it. How about come up with some solutions around getting more people to come and vote? I will answer this question for you. In 2018, based on our survey that we did post 2018 and based on the statistics on turnout in 2018, it was apparent that people over the age of 41 to 70 had the highest turnout, 84%, 81%. But people below 40, turnout 21 to 30, the turnout was 64%, and then 72%, 74%. So one thing you can deduce, Fiji being in the context of Fiji, is that the parents went to vote, but the kids didn't go to vote. That's one thing. That's the problem. Number two problem was where the parents went and voted and the kids didn't go and vote, the parents did not do enough to get them out to vote.
You mean adults of the over 18?
Yes, the kids, yes. They're children, like your child. So if you are the person who, if you are over 41 and you have a child, you went and voted, but their child didn't vote. That's one scenario. The second one is the appeal factor with young people has completely missed the mark. The young people did not feel involved, and I am not going to make comments around what should be done and how, but in 2018 and looking at now, it appears there is more being done to engage with young people, but that is only to the extent of engaging with them to see what you are saying, hear what you are saying. How to mobilize them is what is most critical. In fact, this is a question that you can ask all the candidates who you interview in future, is that what would they do, not to just do for young people, but what to do to mobilize them. Because Vijay, the election management body, the primary role for the supervisor of elections is to conduct elections. So we have to ensure that the staff are present, the polling stations are as convenient as possible, accessibility is there, that people know what is the date for the election, how to vote, when to vote, where to vote. All that is done. The responsibility of voting is that with the citizen. So how do we create that mobilization? How do we get that many people moving to come out and vote? If 2014 was an example, you call in the election world you call it a transition election, where you move from one form of governance into another form of governance. If 2014 is an example where 84% turnout is possible, what is necessary to pull that turnout back to 84%? I'm already showing you there's a drop of 22% of interest in postal votes. If we use that as an example, we're looking at 50%. Nobody likes 50%. Right now, I tell you, listening to me, listeners won't like 50%. But that's the problem. We all know that is the problem. What is the solution? How will you confirm in your own household that there are 5 people in your household? How will you be able to guarantee that all 5 will go and vote?
It's everyone's responsibility, and those who are watching, please take that into account. As the supervisor has said, we could have a situation where only there's 50% voter turnout. If in countries like the US, they have been pondering over this as well. They've had 56% voter turnout, 45% voter turnout, and it becomes a concern after the fact. This is the time you can change it, and that is why we've got the supervisor here. We'll be back after this break.
What I did in 2006 is to clean up the mess in the study.
When there has been Itoke leadership, everybody has been embraced.
He cannot stomach the fact that he is not in government.
You said that you couldn't pay out bonuses, but this shows an increase in board directors' fees.
You are wanting to lead the country, not me. I'm asking you the question again, back to corporal punishment. Right. What's your stand on it?
Fijivillage cannot intervene into a personal matter.
Absolutely, you can for small businesses.
I was very surprised when he came out with that statement that I would conduct a coup if I lose. Not
Hand
me.
on your heart.
It's him.
No, you're a joke.
No, you are a joke.
You're a joke.
You're a joke. Don't bring that up. You don't.
No, I gotta bring it up. You were commander.
But yes,
Every military officer and serviceman at the time was under your
you've
command.
forgotten you trained them.
Bula Vinaka, this is Fijivillage Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan.
Fijivillage Straight Talk with Vijay Narayan, sponsored by Salt and Pepper Home Decor, living in high quality. Watch it live on the Fijivillage Facebook page. Download the all-new Fijivillage app. Get the latest news direct to your mobile. Get the latest sports updates from our scoreboards online. Navigate easily through our categories. Watch videos from Straight Talk interviews, local music videos, sports, and many more. You can now easily listen to your favorite radio stations from your phone. Download the all-new Fijivillage app right now.
Welcome back. This is Fijivillage Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight, the Supervisor of Elections, Mr. Mohammed Saneem, and we're talking about electoral processes and the importance of voter turnout because as Mr. Saneem has highlighted, based on figures, we could have a voter turnout that people may not like after the fact. This is the time to start thinking about, and as he said, in your own families, looking at everyone who's registered and ensuring they come out to vote. A question about ballot papers with serial numbers. You've attended some of the sessions. It keeps coming up. Can you please explain the constitutional requirement of secrecy of the ballot and how you track ballot papers issued to polling stations?
Okay, let me very clearly explain this. The world of elections works against the world of accountings. In much more simpler ways, in an accounting system, you will be able to track every receipt to a person. in the world of elections, your final product, which is the ballot paper, it should not be trackable to you. If a ballot paper is tracked to the voter, that essentially means that any person, election official, political party agent, the court, or any other person would know how this person voted. That goes against the universal principle of secret ballot. If you want to do that, then why do you want to have elections with such a big setup? Why don't you just do a show of hands at Albert Park? That's not an election, you would say. But an election requires, the most important principle behind an election is the secrecy of the ballot. That is the paramount protection of a voter to make a choice. So in Fiji, historically, we've never had serial numbers on ballot papers. I have done videos to show people exactly what the ballot papers looked like previously. There were no serial numbers on ballot papers. In the current election, there are no serial numbers on ballot papers. Now, ballot papers are, in this election, ballot papers are printed and bound into books of 50. We release from the factory the exact number of ballot papers as required for the general election. Whatever is the balance is shredded. Balance being, when you print in a factory, when you take it for cutting, the top ballot paper will be spoiled because the machine presses against it, it gets spoiled. So that is spoiled. Similarly, there are production errors and those kinds of things. So whatever is the balance is shredded, made in, and then put into bales, locked inside a container with the seal. That is to make sure that after the election we can pulp it. In terms of the numbers that are there on the book, this is how it works. In a polling station, maximum number of voters that we can have is 650. The FEO will send 13 books maximum to a polling station, 1-3. In sending 13 books, this time around, we are giving political parties the book number going to the polling station so that they can track it. The question about serial numbers on ballot papers arises from people's experience from 2006 and earlier elections, where because you could vote anywhere, the elections office used to print 3 times the number of voters' ballot papers. Meaning, like example 2006, 400,000 voters were registered to vote, 1.5 million ballot papers were printed. In that case, where is the accountability of the ballot paper? How will you track how many ballot papers were used in Deumba? Or if you fall short at the Suva Civic Center, you have to then transport ballot papers there. It could have made sense, but it was against electoral principles. But in this system where you are limiting the number of people who can vote at a polling station, it's a one-day election, you have limited double registration by ensuring it's a biometrics registration system. Then you have the names printed on a voter list, so you cannot have 2 names printed on a person's name printed on the voter list twice. So these are some protections around safety in terms of the number of ballot papers being used. In an election, what is the purpose of reconciliation of ballot papers? 1, ballot papers are reconciled to see how many were received, how many have been dispatched during the day. That is reconciled against how many voters turned up to vote. It should be equal to or less. Why less? Because some ballot papers may be spoiled, so that will not be in the ballot box, but it will be outside in the spoiled ballot paper envelope. Some person may have come, got their name crossed off, voted, went to the ballot box, dropped the voter instruction booklet in the ballot box, ballot paper in the pocket, gone home. That can also happen, so it has to be less. If it is more, then we have to go back and reconcile to, then the ballot box is quarantined. So far we haven't had that issue. Touch wood, it doesn't happen, and my presiding officers are all listening. Touch wood, it doesn't happen in this election also. But that is how we manage ballot paper. Tracking, ballot paper reconciliation, and the reconciliation process is done in the presence of party agents. It's not done in secrecy. Party agents are entitled to be present. If they are there, good. If they are not there, we'll still do it because we have to finish the count. So that's the first step. If the reconciliation does not balance, the PO cannot proceed to count,
Presiding officer.
Yes, he cannot proceed to count. So that's the manner of tracking ballot papers. The other reason people come up with is, oh, the ballot papers will be pre-marked. Let me tell you how ballot papers are produced. It's 700,000 ballot papers printed in the presence of 15 to 20 police officers, quality assured by my staff who are rotated 3 shifts, and you have to look at the number of ballot papers coming out. If there is a PO who finds a ballot book that has a skirmish on it, they will not use it. Skirmish meaning, can I use a sheet of paper? We are live, right? If the ballot paper book has become like this, my POs will not use that. They will use a book that is in good shape, right? Forget about a ballot paper that has got any pen marks. The other point about ballot paper production, Vijay, is when we do ballot paper production, of course our staff have to do some quality assurance, so they have to take some records. They don't use blue pen or black pen. They use orange pen, or they use red pen, or they use green pen. At the FEO, we have a policy, wherever there is a ballot paper, there cannot be any blue or black pen. You have to have either red, orange or green, and these are all pens that we have color coded for different stages of operations. So those are the safeties around ballot paper in terms of the management by FEO, and also the reasoning why we don't have serial numbers, and hardly any country has serial numbers. I tell you one more thing. In Fiji, we send 650 ballot papers per polling station. There are still concerns as to why you have printed so many ballot papers. Imagine if you are the 10th voter in the line and the party agent knows that the serial number of the book here is starting from 100 to 150. When at night time, when the ballot papers are being counted, won't that party agent be able to know that Vijay voted with ballot paper number 10 and he voted for so and so candidate? Exactly. That is what is the risk of this election. So we have to put it in this system. You cannot know who voted how.
Now, in relation to ballot papers, of course, they will only have numbers, and you've got a system on ensuring even the voter, when they go to the polling station to cast their ballot, you have processes when they're walking in. If you can explain to those who are listening out there.
Yes. When you turn up to a polling station and you come with your blue colored voter card, you will present your blue colored voter card to the person who is the inside queue controller. They will check your blue colored voter card, see that you are at the right polling station. They will check your finger, check your hands for indelible ink. If there is no indelible ink and you have the right card, you are at the right polling station, they will ask you to enter. As you enter, they will give you the voter instruction booklet. That booklet has got the candidate number, name, party symbol and photo of every candidate in this election in numerical order starting from 173. Then you take your voter instruction booklet and you go to the first staff. That staff will check your voter ID card, find you on the voter list, mark you off the voter list, get you to sign, hand you a ballot paper. You'll take your ballot paper, you'll go to the cardboard voting booth. At the cardboard voting booth, you will use the voter instruction booklet to find the number of the candidate you want to vote for. Then you will mark the number of that candidate on the ballot paper by placing a circle or tick or cross on that number, either one of these, not all three. Then you will fold your ballot paper into 2 or 3 and then you'll go towards the ballot box. Before you reach the ballot box, we will have another staff who will apply ink to your tiny finger, and then you will be allowed to put your ballot paper in the ballot box. You can take the voter instruction booklet home, or there will be a bin. You can put the voter instruction booklet in the bin. We will also give you an I voted sticker to give you that pride that you have discharged your duty to the nation this time.
Thank you,
that's all.
Mr. Saneem, and that's a proper clarification on ballot papers, the management of ballot papers, the reconciliation of ballot papers, and ensuring there's the secrecy of the ballot is maintained based on the Constitution, because it is supposed to be by secret ballot. We will be back after this break and we'll be talking about pre-polling. Stay with us. Bula Vinaka, I'm Vijay Narayan. As Fiji goes to the polls, we at Fiji Village are committed to bringing you fair, accurate and balanced coverage of the issues that matter. Visit the Fiji Votes 2022 section on Fiji Village for all the latest on the 2022 Fijian general elections.
Download the all-new Fiji Village app right now.
What I did in 2006 is to clean up the mess in the study.
When there has been Itoke leadership, everybody has been embraced.
He cannot stomach the fact that he is not in government.
You said that you couldn't pay out bonuses, but this shows an increase in board directors' fees.
You are wanting to lead the country, not me. I'm asking you the question again, back to corporal punishment.
Right.
What's your stand on it?
Fiji First cannot intervene into a personal matter.
Absolutely, you can for small businesses.
I was very surprised when he came out with that statement that I would conduct a coup if I lose. Not
Hand
me.
on your heart.
It's him.
No, you're a joke.
No, you are a joke.
You're a joke.
You're a joke. Don't bring that up. We don't.
No, I gotta bring it up. You were commander.
But yes,
Every military officer and serviceman at the time was under your
you've
command.
forgotten you train them.
Bula Vinaka, this is Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan.
Fiji Village Straight Talk with Vijay Narayan. Sponsored by Salt and Pepper Home Decor. Living in high quality. Watch it live on the Fiji Village.
Welcome back. This is Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Tonight, our guest, the Supervisor of Elections, Mr. Mohammed Saneem, and we're talking about electoral processes, getting you to understand, and the platform that is being used, of course, to ensure that we are reaching out to people so that your questions that have been coming in, we have brought them to the Supervisor of Elections for him to clarify for your satisfaction and also to ensure that we are assisting in ensuring we have the best voter turnout come election day and even before that, because some people, more than 70,000, will be voting before election day. So we'll be talking about that now. Pre-polling, which is part of the Electoral Act, this is when people vote before election day. Mr. Saneem, can you please talk about the determination of the number of voters selected for pre-polling, the selected polling stations, and the process regarding pre-polling?
Well, primarily pre-poll is for areas that are the highlands or the islands. That's the best way to describe it. We also have the disciplined forces who will be voting under pre-poll.
Now, there's allocated days from December 5th to 9th.
Yes.
If you can explain the process.
Pre-polling will take place from the 5th to the 9th of December. It will take place in over 660 locations. And we have a fixed schedule for it. Of course, fixed insofar as the tide and the weather permits. All the places that are voting under pre-poll, we have already delivered to them the voter instruction booklet so that they can actually go through it and familiarize themselves with the candidate numbers. That was done last week. Friday was the last day. We've done our round throughout the whole country. We had taken ships to the Lao group, Lomaviti group, everywhere. Now we will go around again and we will do voting in those places from the 5th to the 9th. When we went around the last time, we also placed these big road signs telling people on the date and the time when election will take place in their area. And we also pasted a letter from the FEO to the people in that area at that location, and we gave a copy of the letter to the Turangani Koros of those areas. We went through the Itoke Affairs channels also to inform people about the incoming teams for elections. And just this morning, I had a full briefing with about 300 people who will be traveling out into the islands from Sunday. From Sunday, they will be moving out to conduct pre-poll from Monday. So, election in Fiji starts on Monday.
December 5th to December 9th, of course, it's based on time periods for different areas. What is the time period that you've chosen for each area as you move?
Yes. It depends on the number of voters. If there are 100 voters, we give them 2 hours. Because voting takes about 2 minutes. We give 100 voters, we have allocated 2 hours. If there are more than 100 voters, then we have additional hours as per the need that is there. So that is the strategy. In one polling station, at one point in time, 4 people can stand up and vote. So that's why we have allocated 2 hours. And generally, in the pre-poll, the numbers are very small. So the teams go there, they conduct polling for that location, and then they have to move on to the next one. So we have arranged in such a manner. Where it's concerning islands, there is a few hiccups that we will face. I can tell you in advance. There will be birthing issues because of tide, and there are some islands in Fiji where there are restrictions for entry and exit of the island. You cannot go past 3 o'clock. Actually, there are some places in the mainland, Viti Levu, where you cannot go out of the village after 3 o'clock to come back to Suva, because of the fact that it takes you 4 hours to navigate through the river, and I have been there personally to tell you this experience. So those are some of the locations. We'll be taking the helicopter. We'll also take small planes to places that have landing facilities, and we'll conduct elections in that manner in pre-polling. It's a massive exercise.
So for people to remember that although elections day, that's the voting time is from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. It is not the same for pre-polling. So people just remember that there's allocated times. As the supervisor has said, information has been distributed to the areas where there's pre-polling, and people need to understand that they have their allocated time between December 5th to December 9th. Not every day from December 5th to December 9th, but on the allocated day and allocated time. Mr. Saneem, what are the security arrangements for the ballot boxes from pre-poll to ensure they do not get tampered with?
Well, if you look at the design of ballot boxes that we use in Fiji, it's all transparent ballot boxes. So that's to start with. These ballot boxes come with a sealing system. The lid has got a, it's sort of, how should I describe this? It's got a flap behind the bottom part and a flap on the front of it. So you cannot slide paper in with success, because it has to go up, go down, go sideways, then go down again. So it's impossible to shove paper through from the side of the box. The box is sealed with 5 seals. These are the seals that will remain on the box, and they will be tracked from the point of the polling station onto the vessel where it is being loaded. In the boat, there is a hull that is specifically for sensitive material. It will be locked. There are more police officers on every boat than FEO staff and ship crew. It will then be transported at the wharf. Those ballot boxes will come out of the hull, go into containers, shipping containers. Party agents are allowed to be there. It will be then sealed. The shipping container will have its own seal. It will be transported to the FEO warehouse where it will be stored under police guard, and then on election night it will be counted. On election day it will be moved from the warehouse to the counting center, where it will be counted at election night in an orderly manner.
What about the interior and the highlands?
In the highlands, the transportation will be at exchange points. So you can say that Vunindawa may be the exchange point for the Naitasiri region, where ballot boxes will come to Vunindawa, stored in the police under police guard in a container, and then we will pick it all up and bring it down. So that's the plan.
You've alluded to this, the party agents. Of course, under the Electoral Act, party agents can be allowed based on a proper accreditation. You have given access to them. it's important for viewers to know the type of access that party agents get. Can you please reveal that?
For the 2022 election, the law has been amended to allow greater access for party agents into other aspects of the election that they previously did not have direct access through the law. This means that party agents can legally now be present in an area which we will designate for them during the results processing time, during postal vote verification time, during packing time, during dispatch. I can tell you when we were packing sensitive material, Sudelpa and People's Alliance sent their agents for the demonstration of the packing. They were there for about 1 hour. After that they left, and we did the sensitive material packing for pre-poll, and no party agent was present. We had CCTV cameras running live on our Facebook channel, and of course I believe this is because they know the process. They know that their presence at certain locations is of no use, because ultimately they can review that at a later stage, which is meaning that parties are becoming more and more matured into the system. They know what to track and where. And so as far as their presence and access is concerned, they have unrestricted access to all the places where ballot paper handling takes place, and of course at the result center as well.
This is Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight, the Supervisor of Elections. We're talking about electoral processes and all gearing towards pre-poll. Definitely voting starts from December 5th to 9th, allocated time periods at allocated locations, islands and the highlands, as Mr. Saneem has said, and for the others, voting day on December 14th. Mr. Saneem, how are you dealing with racist comments and hate speech during these elections? Every election has its own way of coming out as we build up to elections, and it's your task in how you can manage that if complaints are filed. How are you dealing with that?
Well, first and foremost, Vijay, when an election turns into racist comments and hate speech, that's when you start to see people lose interest in the election. And if there is a person who is politically motivated to ensure that his or her political party wants to win, they need to now relook at their strategy, because they don't want to win with 40% turnout. It is in everybody's interest that the turnout is over 80%, so that you can legitimately claim the win. So if you are thinking about it in this direction, then it's in your best interest to now stop with all this and focus on winning the election by having maximum turnout. That's my message to those who are politically motivated. Then we have the detractors in Fiji. There are some people who have no business in Fiji. They live overseas. They probably live in their own world. They're retired. But what do? They meddle in the affairs of this country. They write all these sorts of nonsense they come up with. There is one particular person, Vijay. Every single prediction that person has done is wrong. Every single prediction, you go back to the last time the person started writing, keeps writing every day, some Gandalf character, whatever they call themselves. Every single prediction is wrong. Every single assessment or analysis of Fiji is wrong. Claims to have extensive knowledge about Fiji, nothing, right? Comes out every single day, beats his head around the bush, cannot make a sentence except in a paragraph. You know, these kind of people in Fiji laugh at. But you know, when it comes to hate speech, the damage it will do is not only during the election time. As I have said from the beginning of this election, let campaign not become so bad that it damages the fabric of society. Right now, you have people who can walk around town and say bulla to each other and smile and walk away. Let it not become that when you say bulla, you feel guilty. That just 2 months ago during elections, I called this person in a different class. I made this comment. You know, it only takes a person to come and remind you about your ethics. If a person comes out and, like some of these profiles in which, you know, there is a person who purportedly lives in Reki, holds himself out as a religious leader, right? But this person is entirely racist. Writes all this kind of crap. The word is crap. I mean, what is the...
what can you do?
What does this person intend to get out of it?
What can you do as a supervisor with these kind of people?
Well,
according to the laws of the land.
According to the law, people can be prosecuted. Right? People will be prosecuted. People have been sent to FICAC for prosecution. But how many people would you like to prosecute? It's about the values. I think at some point in time, people see you for what you really are. And that's when you become a laughing stock. People have in Fiji formed a habit of reading stuff online and then ignoring it. When I meet people and they say, you know, so-and-so wrote something like this, and then, you know, what is going on in that person's mind? So, whilst you feel very happy that you are writing all this nonsense, you should also know, and I'm telling you today, that people are laughing at you. You have become a laughing stock. If you are the person posting up racist stuff, becoming ethnocentric and all these things, and going to the extreme, you can be labeled to be an extremist. And then you will come up with all these arguments. But the point is, don't take it to such an extent. Don't let it be that you cannot repair what you have done, because after the election you will walk the same streets. It's not that the election is going to end and everything is going to be finished, everybody will forget. People will remember your actions. There are receipts on the internet. So there is no place for this in the electoral platform. And as the FEO, we are keeping a very strict eye. Facebook, Meta is working very closely with the FEO in these areas. You will notice a page called One Mind, One Goal, made up of all these fakers, has been closed by Facebook. Because, you know, not only Fiji, people overseas see some of these posts and say, are you serious? In today's day and age, there are people talking like this? So if you are looking at, you know, publicity by using hate speech, you know, not only the FEO, there are other people in the world who are taking action against you. And by removing this One Mind, One Goal page, it has brought relief to so many thousands of Fijians who were susceptible for defamation without any recourse. The other point is, on a similar note, is if there is a page or a person who is repeatedly doing this, please report it to us. Report it to the Fijian Elections Office. We have managed to identify a lot of these fake account holders, and we have referred them to FICAC, and we will continue to do so. Don't let these people become overly glorified that we've managed to do it and get away. No, if Facebook can take action against a page like One Mind, One Goal, and you know, every single One Mind, One Goal page that is now being made is on the radar of Facebook. So they have to be careful about this.
And inciting racial hatred is an offense in the country. So ensuring that we stay within our boundaries to ensure that we have good practices going into these elections, that is the most important process. The other one is we've got a new process for manifestos for political parties. And if they make financial commitments, they have to back it up. They have some of them have come out with manifestos and they are talking about figures. How is that assessment made, and how is that coming along, knowing that this is happening for the first time in this election?
I think it emanates from the fact that a proper opposition will always have an alternative budget. And that is essential for a parliamentary governance system, for you to have an alternative budget. It is not sufficient for you to stand up and say, so-and-so is giving $5, given $5, give them $10. You must have an alternative budget, and with that alternative budget, I think if you look at the New Zealand parliament during the COVID period, the leader of opposition stood up in New Zealand and presented an excellent alternative budget. And that is something to learn from. Now, the same system, it's the same system. It's an electoral parliamentary democracy that we have in Fiji. So, when you have a manifesto in which you are making all these promises and you are going to fund it, there has to be some indication as to where you will draw the finances from, where you will push the finances to. And that is for the safety for every Fijian. I give you one example. If there is a politician who finds that a carrot is that I will build a bridge from Natovi to Nambualu, that politician should be able to then say, the money that I will use to build this bridge comes from this pot. Because I'm a former permanent secretary, my position right now is of permanent secretary level. Entire funds of government is, you can say, a cake. It's one cake. How much of the share of the cake you get for your department or ministry, it is only within that cake. You cannot go outside that. So when you are looking at the point in time when the election of a new set of representatives for the country is going to take place, they firstly need to know that it's all in a cake. There is nothing outside of that. And secondly, how will they distribute that cake based on the promises they are making? That is the functioning of this. If a politician is making all these promises to you and it is not in their manifesto, feel free to raise it with the FAO. We will ask them to give us written explanation as to how they will fund it and where the source of funds are. And they will provide it. They have done so. I mean, we've asked 2-3 politicians already. They have done it, and that is fully justified. So, no more the days of promising to gravel all the Tahsil roads and not being able to fund it.
Gravel all the Tahsil roads. That's a funny one. Now, we've got some questions coming in. As I had said, relevant questions will be asked. Bobby is asking, why are banners, political banners, not down during pre-polling?
Okay, so the rule for pre-polling, if you see, pre-polling is taking place in the islands and in the highlands. If there is a banner that is out there in the island or in the highlands, then that banner will be taken down. If it is within the 300 meters boundary of a polling station. If it is not, you cannot assume that a banner that is placed at Nambua roundabout is going to influence a person who has not even seen it in the middle of Navosa. So that is the practical nature of the electioneering. You can understand this by knowing that the FAO and the police will work together with the Turangani Koro to ensure that campaign materials within the 300-meter boundary of the pre-polling site are down.
Josefata from Narere is asking, how will the FAO reconcile a difference in manual counting and result management system following data entry?
There shouldn't be any errors, because after the data entry is done, we will give every single political party the scanned version of the final protocol of results and the data printout from our result management system. We've done it in 2018, we'll do the same. There is no difference. We'll actually give it to the party, they can sit down and reconcile. 2018, 2014 results is on the app right down to the polling station. If you have the pink slip from the polling station, it will match, I can guarantee you.
Mr. Saneem, can you please explain requirements, compliance and monitoring during the campaign blackout period, which starts on December 12th?
Campaign blackout is a feature of some of the democracies, and Fiji also employs it. This is for voters to have a reprieve from incessant campaign. Like right now they're being pushed with all these types of promises, campaign issues and things. They will have 2 days to rest.
Cool off period.
Think, cooling off period. Think what you want, whether all these things add up to what you want or not. That's for the voter to decide. That's 2 days. Political parties who have been in the system since 2014 would know easily how to handle this. The newer ones, we will coach them through. The idea is that the social pages where it is interactive will have to go down, but the websites which are static will remain up, because a voter should still be able to go and look up X information from a political party from their website. It's not that they should be completely blocked off from it, but no, the political party cannot update their page after their date and time.
From December 12th,
yes,
7:30 a.m.
7:30 a.m. on the 12th of December. Also, media organizations cannot run any more campaign advertisements. We will be working with media organizations to ensure that their articles do not look like a campaign. So, an indirect caption with the front page with the leader of a particular political party on the 13th of December might not be appropriate, depending on what the situation is. But of course, I'm pretty sure the media are fully aware of how to go through this. We've run a training session with them, and we can always provide clarity to the editors. We will take very strict action if someone breaches it, because you cannot hide behind the fact that you are a newspaper and that it will be a breach of the rights of the media to publish an article if you breach the campaign law. I was thinking whether we could go to the extent of asking the newspapers, if they do publish it, to retract every single newspaper. That would be pretty high on the list of aggressive implementation of campaign rules, but if it has to be done, it will have to be considered and done. So the idea is everybody complies with the law so that we don't have to use the enforcement provisions.
Mr. Saneem, thank you very much. Of course, there's a lot of processes, and tonight people have had to really, I think they've got a good grasp if they are going into elections for the first time. Feedback that we're getting, for example, the first question that I asked you, can I vote at any polling station, came from people who have not voted before. So there's some people who are sitting out there. Now you know all those details. The big issue highlighted by the supervisor tonight, voter turnout. It is in everyone's interest to ensure we get maximum voter turnout, and he's even thrown out a figure. It could be 50% voter turnout if based on analysis on statistics. He definitely doesn't want that. He's calling on people to come out. It is not compulsory to vote, but it is a constitutional right to vote. And also a call made to employers, if you're opening on election day, give time for your employees by at least opening later. A plea, of course, no directive is being issued. A plea that as part of your corporate social responsibility, you get people to come out and vote. Supervisor, thank you very much. Very well appreciated, and we'll see you again before December 14th for another session.
Done. Thank you.
What I did in 2006 is to clean up the mess in the study.
When there has been Itoke leadership, everybody has been embraced.
He cannot stomach the fact that he is not in government.
You said that you couldn't pay out bonuses, but this shows an increase in board directors' fees.
You are wanting to lead the country, not me. I'm asking you the question again, back to corporal punishment.
Right.
What's your stand on it?
Fiji First cannot intervene into a personal matter.
Absolutely you can for small businesses.
I was very surprised when he came out with that statement that I would conduct a coup if I lose. Not
Hand
me.
on your heart.
It's him.
No, you're a joke.
No, you are a joke. You're a joke. You're a joke.
Don't bring that up. We don't.
No, I gotta bring it up. You were commander.
But yes,
Every military officer and serviceman at the time was under your
you've
command.
forgotten you trained them.
Bulu Vinaka, this is Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan.
Fiji Village Straight Talk with Vijay Narayan. Sponsored by Salt and Pepper Home Decor. Living in high quality. Watch it live on the Fiji Village Facebook page. Download the all-new Fiji Village app. Get the latest news direct to your mobile. Get the latest sports updates from our scoreboards online. Navigate easily through our categories. Watch videos from Straight Talk interviews, local music videos, sports and many more. You can now easily listen to your favorite radio stations from your phone. Download the all-new Fiji Village app right now.